Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I thought I would chat a bit more about renting a property, specifically in England, because there are slightly different rules for Scotland, Wales and Ireland and obviously other places in Europe. I did do another video previously which was my tips for renting a property. I'll link that in the description bar below, but today I wanted to talk about specifically your rights as a tenant. You have a number of rights. I will also link the government website below that details the rights that you have as a tenant, but I thought I would just chat through them quickly here, just so they're all in one place. So, number one, you are entitled and you have a right to a safe flat or house or whatever, a safe property in a good state of repair. So it needs to be livable, basically. Obviously, you're unlikely to take on a property that is already not safe and not in a good state of repair unless you have specific circumstances. But if for whatever reason your property falls into a state of disrepair or it's no longer safe, for example, your front door is broken, the lock is broken, any number of things, you have a right for that to be fixed quickly, basically, because your home needs to be safe and secure. And also something to bear in mind is, obviously you need to check, but a key thing is obviously if your property is not safe and it is not secure, then your insurance for your contents insurance is likely going to be invalid. So if anything is stolen, you won't be able to claim for that. Yeah, so think about that. Another right is this is one that I didn't actually know about when we first started renting our property. I learned about it through doing research and looking at our rights and things as a tenant, but you actually have a right to know who your landlord is. So if you don't know who your landlord is, you can request to find out who they are, and they have to inform you who they are within 21 days of making that request. We knew who the landlord was before we rented this property because it's above a shop, and we knew that the owner of the shop also owned the property, so that's not something that we were in the dark about. But yeah, if you're private renting, you are entitled to know who your landlord is. Third right that you have, and this is one that we had to fight for a little bit in this property, is you have the right to live in your property undisturbed. So that involves harassment by the landlord and things like that. So although they are allowed to request to come in and see the property and check, this is usually done through the letting agent. So some letting agents will come and check every couple of months just to make sure you've not knocked down a wall or pulled up all the carpet. But they have to give you a minimum of 24 hours notice of entry, of wanting to enter the property. If they don't, you are entitled to refuse entry, because at the end of the day, although they own the property, you are living there as a private tenant and it is your home. Thing that you're entitled to when you move into a property, so when you get all of the final documentation, you should be given two things minimum. You should be given an EPC certificate, which is an energy performance certificate. That needs to be a minimum of E. So it goes A, B, C, D, E. If the property does not reach the energy performance certificate level E, it is not acceptable. It has to be E or above. The other thing that they should be giving you is a how to rent guide. If you lose it, I'm pretty sure there's a copy on the government website. I'll find it and link it below. But that has important information about the rights and responsibilities of a tenant, rights and responsibilities of a landlord. They have to provide you with that documentation when you agree to move into the property, etc. Thing is, you are protected from unfair eviction or unfair rent charges, so they can't just kick you out. As far as I am aware, and kind of having my own experience and conversations I've had with other friends, when it comes to your contract, if you've signed a fixed term contract, you generally can't do anything about leaving, but they also cannot kick you out. So for example, if you sign a 12-month fixed contract, for example, you move in the property on the 1st of July I don't know why I've done that example because I don't know how many days there are in June. Okay, you sign a contract for the 16th of June, and that means that your contract will run until the 15th of June the following year. They cannot end your tenancy early. Generally what will happen is you will be contacted a couple of months before the end of the tenancy by the letting agent or the landlord if you're doing it directly, and they will ask you if you would like to renew your tenancy, and if you do want to renew your tenancy, under what terms. At that point they'll go away and talk to your landlord, and then there'll be discussions. We are currently at this point in our tenancy where we've said we'd like to stay, but we're now waiting for the landlord to come back and agree to that. They can say no, but they would then have to give you 2 months notice. At any point, unless, this is important, unless you've defaulted on rent, then they can't just kick you out. They have to give you 2 months notice, but once you're outside of a fixed term agreement, so if you're on a rolling contract, you only have to give them 1 month's notice. Yeah, so that's quite handy to know. You don't need to worry you're going to be turfed out on the street. Yeah, that's a whistle-stop tour on the rights that you have as a tenant. I've also done a video talking about your responsibilities as a tenant, so that will be going up in the next couple of days. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. I hope this has been useful. I will, as I said, link some really useful websites below, link the How to Rent guide if I can find it, and I'll also link my other video chatting about tips for renting. So be sure to check that one out, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.